Hi, this is Miles Werledge, and this is my presentation on the humpback whale, Megaptera noviangliae. The humpback whale, this guy's in order Cetartiodactyla, suborder Mysticetes, family Balaenopteridae, genus Megaptera, and species Noviangliae. So first, we're going to start talking about the body characteristics of this guy. So this guy is 48 to 62.5 feet long. They will vary size depending on whether it's male or female. It can weigh up to 40 tons. So these guys are really, really big. They have a counter-shaded body. They have a dark top and a light bottom. This is just to avoid predation. The pronounced hump at the leading edge of the dorsal fin is one of the reasons they get their common name of humpback. And you can kind of see in these images over here that hump right around the dorsal fin at the leading edge. They also have baleen plates for filter feeding. So these guys are in the baleen whale group, the Mysticetes group. And they also have this ventral pleating on the lower part of their throat. And these will expand for filter feeding when they're taking in large amounts of water and filtering through krill and other guys like that to eat. All right, their pectoral fins are most notable about these guys. They have extremely long pectoral fins. On average, they're about 1/3 of the body size. The largest pectoral fin of any cetacean on the planet, and they actually happen to be the largest appendage of any mammal on the planet. The coloration of these dorsal fins can be any proportion of white or black. And these guys, the length of these really help making it extremely maneuverable. These guys can turn on a dime, and it makes it the humpback the most maneuverable great whale. And you can also see here they have these unique patterning of tubercles on the pectoral fins, the rostrum, and under the lower jaw, and these contain vibrissae. And the reason for these tubercles is still somewhat unknown, but it's thought that it might be a social reason or aid in swimming. All right, geographic range of the humpback whales. So these guys are found almost everywhere. They're found in all oceans, no fresh waters. They mate in the tropical waters, and they migrate from polar regions to more tropical regions seasonally, and we'll talk about more about that later in the migration. Habitat-wise, the humpback whale is entirely aquatic. It never goes on land. It spends its entire life in the ocean. It mates in tropical waters and feeds in warmer waters. We'll get to that. And it's usually encountered specifically in coastal waters, like with humans. So the humpback diet, they have baleen plates for filter feeding. So they're taking in small fish, krill, little invertebrates in the water column, and they take a huge amount of water in so that they can get in enough of these little animals so that their diet is upheld. Reproductive wise, individuals, so humpbacks reach sexual maturity between 5 and 10 years old. Females birth a calf every 2 to 3 years. Typically only one calf is born, but occasionally two will be born at the same time. And their gestation period is about 11 months in the womb. Breeding takes place only in warmer waters during winter months. And the calves are also born in those winter waters, and they will subsequently nurse for 6 to 10 months. And humpbacks will live around 45 to 50 years, depending. So migration. So humpbacks are huge migrators. They have an extremely long migration. So they can go up to 15,000 miles annually, depending on their route. So they migrate from polar temperate waters in the summers to warmer tropical waters in the winter. And you can see in this image that I provided over here, it's a little blurry, and I apologize for that, but you can see that these blue clusters right here are summer feeding grounds. You can also see these guys up here at the northern poles. And these green clusters right here are the summer feeding grounds. And you can see the routes that they take. And you can see this is an extremely long distance. These guys really do travel like an insane distance annually for feeding and mating. And then this red region over here are potential regions around like the Arabian Sea and northern Indian Ocean, are areas where some populations are thought not to migrate as they can stay there, as this it's seasonally possible for them to stay there. So human interactions. So there's been a lot of human interaction with humpback whales. Humans have been hunting humpbacks as early as the 1700s on record, and they're hunted for oil, baleen, and their meat. During the 1900s, the whaling got especially bad. Over 200,000 individuals were hunted, and the global population reduced by about 90%. And commercial humpback whaling was then subsequently banned in 1966 in order to preserve the populations. Then global humpbacks are now classified by the IUCN as least concern as recently as 2008. Regardless, these humpback whales are still protected at the federal level for the United States. Whale watching is a huge ecotourist pastime. Uh, if you've ever been to Hawaii, you might have done like a whale watching trip or something similar to see like these massive humpbacks breach and do stuff like that. And they bring in these whale watching ecotourist attractions can actually revenue a massive amount of money, especially for an island state like Hawaii. All right, some fun facts about the humpback. Humpbacks get their common name from the way they arch or hump their back before diving. So these guys are really incredible divers, uh, and they will just arch their back into a hump as they dive. And these killer whales, another fun fact: killer whales will prey on adult and juvenile humpbacks. Sometimes they'll work together to hunt, and they'd use this technique called a bubble net. And what happens is a group will circle a group of schooling fish and create a perimeter around them with bubbles from their blowholes, and this is called the bubble net. And then some other individuals will push from below and push up, so it creates this concentrated area of fish, and then the whales can just swim up through and take in mouthfuls of these fish. Another fun fact is that the males are actually smaller than the females. They have a smaller weight and body size, typically length as well. A calf can weigh up to 1,500 pounds and be 15 feet long at birth. So these calves can be extremely large at birth. They don't really seem like much of a baby, but they are. Breaching behavior of throwing their bodies out of the water. Again, if anybody's gone whale watching, they might have seen humpbacks breach and they throw their bodies out of the water. Uh, the purpose is really unknown. It might be like a display, but scientists are still confused as to the reason why. And then finally, our last fun fact is that males will vocalize in the form of what scientists refer to as songs, and they're extremely sophisticated and very loud, and they will travel up like thousands of miles under certain conditions through the water column. Now, the reason for these vocalizations are also unknown, but males will typically do it. Uh, it's only males that will vocalize, but they will typically only do this during the breeding season. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed my presentation. These are my sources. Have a good day, guys.